On this episode of Retro Car Guy 530, I'm going to update the firmware in my DJI Mini 2 drone to version 01.02.0300. It was released on March 4th, 2021. So let's get into it. I'm going to update the firmware on my DJI Mini 2 just after DJI released the DJI Fly app version 1.3.0 for both Android and iOS to support the DJI FPV drone. They released a firmware release for the Mini 2 the following day, so I'm going to go ahead and process the installation of the new firmware. And the first thing you should do with any firmware installation is to confirm that the batteries for all the devices in use will be at a good charge level to make sure that the process will complete successfully. So I'm going to flip over my Mini 2 here, do a single press, and that is a good charge level. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this on. Get that set up there so we can monitor the lights on the back end of the drone. And then over here we have 100% charge level with 4 LEDs on, so I'm going to go ahead and turn this on. And with that, I'm also going to plug that into my Android device. And I'm going to allow. Okay, so let's see what it comes up with. Alright, there's the prompt for the new DJI Mini 2 firmware available, and I'm going to go ahead and click on install. Let's get the more information. It has the added ability to control orientation of the aircraft when flying forward during return to home, fixed a rare issue aircraft drifted during flight, and fixed a rare issue gimbal vibrated when aircraft descended during return to home. Alright, we're getting through the install here. It's upgrading the Mini 2's firmware to 01.02.0300. And as they're prompting on the screen to check the battery charge level to make sure it's high enough before updating. So we're going through that update now. And it says it's installing it, and we have the yellow light on the rear of the Mini 2. 70% complete. 76. 85%, 95%. The LED is flashing red on the back of the drone. 96. Update successful. When aircraft automatically powers off, restart the aircraft. Alright, the Mini 2 has powered off. So I'm going, and we can see that it's searching there, so we're going to go ahead and power it back on. And since we're indoors during this operation, there will be no GPS locking or sufficient GPS locks to get a proper green status there. So let's go ahead and we're done here. And it confirms that the DJI Mini 2 firmware update was successful. Clear that message. It says firmware installed. And now we should be able to go into the Fly app to connect to the drone. And of course, unable to take off, that is appropriate, and also we're indoors in a artificial light environment, so the warning about lighting is appropriate. Whenever you upgrade the firmware on any device, be it a drone, camera, whatever it might be, you want to go through the settings and confirm that everything that is set as far as preferences match up with what you expect them to be, or you need to reset them to the appropriate value that you had them before the update. And since there's no app change, I'm not expecting any particular issues here as far as changes. And I just want to confirm that that it does see the version of firmware on the drone. It is 01.02.0300, and the our remote controller firmware looks to be the same as it was before. So again, we didn't see any messages during the update for installation of firmware on the remote controller, so that makes sense. And the app version is 1.3, so we're good there. Again, check your safety settings and make sure everything's set to the way you expect it to, especially with return to home and any maximum altitude or distance settings. And go through the check for any need to calibrate anything, and looks like everything's looking good. So the installation of the firmware is successful. I'll try to get this out in the next day or so, depending on weather. It's going to be raining potentially in the next day or so. So we'll see how that goes and try to confirm that return to home orientation change. So if you found the video to be informational, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, make sure you hit that bell notification to be notified when I upload new videos to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Happy flying!